Hi, welcome to the Animal Law Firm, where we are fighting for the underdog. I know it's been a while since I posted a video. I missed you guys too. Today I'm going to talk about pet custody primers and the type of agreements that you need to have in place in order to avoid a pet custody fight in the future. So a lot of the situations that I see are typically unmarried couples who break up, neighbors who get into a dispute about the dog, former friends, and former roommates. So the way these situations typically work out when it's not an unmarried couple who breaks up, a neighbor has a medical situation or goes away on vacation, or usually it's a medical situation or something that has an undetermined end date, unlike a vacation. And the neighbor A asks neighbor B, hey, will you watch my dog while I am in the hospital for a while? Here's some food, let me know if you need anything. And then nothing's really said about when the pet sitting term is going to end, if neighbor B is going to get any compensation, or what happens if there's a medical emergency. So there's a lot of different things that can pop up that aren't covered in that simple, hey, can you watch my dog? Same thing for a former roommate situation. This one's a little trickier. A lot of times one roommate will go out and adopt a dog. Sometimes the parties agree together, oh, hey, we're roommates, we're gonna share, we're gonna be besties forever, let's get a dog together. And one of the roommates goes and gets the dog. One roommate has their name on the paperwork, and they come back and they share the dog. Or one roommate adopts a dog, but they end up sharing the dog while they're living together. They live together for years. At the end of the term, the second roommate feels like he or she has ownership interest in the dog, and inevitably a fight ensues whenever they decide they don't want to live together for whatever reason. A friend situation usually looks like the neighbor situation. Oh, hey, can you watch my dog? Or the friend will ask, oh, hey, buddy, I know you're having a really hard time. Can I help you out? I'll watch your dog while you're going through this difficult time. And again, there's no term, there's no duration spelled out, there's no money, there's no nothing. So everybody's kind of left wondering, oh, when does this end? My friend, my neighbor, my roommate abandoned the dog, they're abusive. A lot of issues come up, or, oh, my neighbor who was sick, they were the abusive one, the dog should go with me because I won't neglect the dog. There's a lot of different situations and a lot of feelings and emotions that come along with this because, hey, dogs are awesome. And I can completely understand why people get so emotional when it comes to dogs, because they are great. That said, ownership laws in Colorado are, and in most states, in fact, this general guidance will apply for most states, are considered property. So despite all the emotions that go with animals and their ownership trumps everything, unless you can prove that there was neglect and, animal cruelty charges were filed by local law enforcement, not by you. Well, you can file charges. That's complicated. That'll be a different video someday. But unless there's proof and there have been animal neglect or cruelty charges filed at some point that you can bring to court to say this person cannot have a dog because of their conviction, your testimony that the animal was abused or neglected by the other person isn't most likely going to have any bearing. I know that sounds crazy, but unfortunately that's just the way the law is right now. And if you want to change this, as I've said before, you need to appeal to your local legislators, either your city council, your state legislators. Your federal legislators really won't have much to do with it, but your state and local city legislators will. So hit them up, get the laws changed, because this really does need to change. So the best way that you can protect yourself and the dog is to make sure that you have everything in writing. So what you want to do is you want to have your name, the dog's name, a brief description of the dog, like gender, age, breed, have the pet sitter's name, identify everybody as what they are. I, Christina Bergston, own the dog Maggie, a 7-year-old female Australian cattle dog mix. And then you'll have the friend's name, Joe Smith. The pet sitter Joe Smith is the pet sitter. And then you'll say when the pet sitting starts, when the pet sitting ends, if you're gonna pay that person, how you're gonna pay that person, when you're gonna pay, is it weekly, monthly, You want to have food in there. Who's going to provide food? Does the money cover the food, or are you going to provide food on top of the money? Are they being paid for their care, or are they being paid to buy things for the dog like food? So make sure that that is at least somewhat spelled out in the agreement. The biggest thing you want is the duration, like when you can expect to get the dog back. Other things you might want in there are where the dog is going to be sat. Is it just at Joe Smith's house? Is Joe Smith going to come to your house and watch the dog? Where is the dog allowed to go? Is the dog allowed to go to dog parks or not? What is the situation? And then you want in there things like what to do if there's a medical emergency, what veterinarian, who pays the bill, how do you get notified? I have more details in my blog, so please check out theanimallawfirm.com and look for my blog titled Friday Night Fights, Tales from the Pet Custody Crypt. And this spells out in more detail what you want in the contract, but just make sure you get something written. If you don't want to hire an attorney to write a formal contract, then an email will suffice, but make sure that everybody indicates that they assent or agree. So have everyone reply all to the email and say, I agree, everybody does it, or have everybody prints it out and signs it and you get copies. This prevents a lot of heartache and headaches later, and it prevents lawsuits, and everyone knows what happens. I think you should also include a provision in the agreement that if you're going to make changes to the contract, like you need to extend the date for pickup, that you make the suggestion no less than 48 hours in advance, everyone agrees to it in writing, and then it becomes a part of the contract. Again, that can be done through email. You can do this all through text message, but it's just better, cleaner presentation if you have it in an email if it does go to court, rather than taking a million screenshots and piecing together what order everything went in with a cell phone text message screenshot. So that is my Friday Night Fights, Tales from the Crypt, pet custody advice. As always, feel free to call us. We give a free 30-minute consultation. Our phone number here is 303-623-4000, or feel free to check us out on social media. We are at The Animal Law Firm across all platforms. And as always, check out our website. We have lots of tools and resources for you there. Thanks everyone. Happy Friday.